go to the next caller. And welcome to the CNC Auto Show. And what can we help you with?
Good morning, Aaron.
Yes, sir. Who's this, Carol?
Here, yes, it's Carol.
Hey, Carol. Man, welcome to the show. What's going on?
Well, you were talking about safety items, and something happened yesterday that just made me think about it. You run a tow truck like we do, and with the sheriff's departments and stuff being understaffed like they are now, a lot of times at the scene of accidents, they only have one deputy, and you get people that are, they're looking, they're observing, they're trying to see what's going on, gawking, whatever you want to call it.
Mm-hmm.
And they make themselves way out into the road, and it's a safety hazard standing out on the road around the scene of an accident. It's also a safety issue if the wrecker is recovering a car out of a ditch or something, and he's got cables stretched out, because those cables and chains will break sometimes, and those cables will come back, slinging back and could hit somebody. So just when there's an accident, try to keep your distance away from the police officers and the wrecker drivers, because they're and you stay out of the road. So.
Oh, that's excellent, Carol. And also, if you're standing behind that vehicle that's being pulled up on the tow truck and the cable breaks, the vehicle may roll back over and run into you. So towing safety.
Absolutely.
I'm glad you mentioned that one also, Carol. Oh, and by the way, everyone, this is Carol Proctor, AC Proctor Paint and Body. He's a friend of the show, been on the show, and always got a lot of great tips. And right now, bringing up something I didn't even put down, and that has to do with anything to do with towing safety. These tow truck drivers, they have to have nerves of steel many times when they're out on an interstate, cars whizzing by them, and they have to get to the side to the lane side of the cars sometime to get certain things hooked up. And I know I've done towing myself, and I know that I did not like towing cars off the interstate or a really busy road like that. So give those guys some room. If you see a tow truck on the side of the road, slow down for them and kind of ease over as much as you can to give them as much room as you possibly can to do their work.
I started off messing with tow trucks when I was 16 years old, and I'm almost 60 now.
Uh-huh.
And it seemed like back in the day, people a little bit more respect to amber lights and stuff, and stop and slow down. And at the scene of accidents now, people are in such a hurry.
Uh-huh.
They just don't care. I mean, we've actually had a couple of wrecker drivers killed in the Augusta area over the last 20 or 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Where people, just didn't slow down coming to an accident scene.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, and that includes construction workers and all, and everybody on the side. But just be courteous when you see some lights flashing, or you see some vests, fluorescent vests on people. Just slow down some, and as much as you can without causing other accidents, and give them some room. If you can move over to the other lane, do that also. Great point, Carol.
Yeah, and even if the tow trucks are not there, if you see somebody that's had a wreck, try to give them some room, try to give them some help, because if you have a wreck in the middle of Washington Road at 5:30 on a Friday afternoon, it's a mess. So.
And Carol, while you're on the phone, we're talking. I'd love to mention something that a lot of people really don't know. How much this happens and how so many people work together in the automotive industry to get people's cars back on the road. But speaking from this end, I can say things like Austin here, those guys they're out in the shop and they have contacts. Some of them have contacts all across the country, and they run into something. And of course, first they'll ask other opinions from technicians around the shop. Then they may call a friend of theirs in a different state or many miles away and ask questions. And we do the same here. For instance, you called me last night and you asked me a question about something, and it just like, what's your opinion? And I give my opinion. You end up finding something different than that. But but we call each other in order to try to help the customers to where they don't have to pay as much or they don't have to do as much, and we can get their vehicle back faster otherwise. And I've called you before on asking you questions, especially things to do with that has to do with collision repair. So I think that's important to mention that. A lot of people don't realize that there's a big network of automotive repairs. There's websites that we go to or chat rooms and different areas that we all go to talk to each other. And it's all for one reason. We want to get that person's car back on the road at the very fastest possible at the best price that we can. So important to mention that from time to time.
You're absolutely right, Aaron. Your contacts, along with mine through ASA through the years, I mean, it's not uncommon in the course of a week for me to pick up the phone and call a friend who owns a body shop in Colorado or somebody in Seattle, Washington, or, Ohio, and ask an auto body question. I mean, and I talk to, my competitors here in town, and Stephen Kendrick, Tyler Smith at Rick's, Murphy Minger, and ask questions, and we compare notes about things, trying to get the car done the most efficient way we can, and let the insurance companies pay for things, that they're responsible for, in an accident. So it is a big network. And at the end of the day, it's about getting the customer's car fixed correctly and at the most affordable price we can.
That's what it's all about, because we all agree there's plenty of cars to be repaired. So it's not a case of being competitive with each other. It's just a matter of helping each other. And Carol, I appreciate the tip.
And all can.
Huh?
Now, I was fixing to say, you bring that up about there's plenty of cars. I beg the consumer, please be patient with your automotive repair facility and your parts people. We are all in the automotive industry suffering from a shortage of employees and severe parts supply chain issues.
Yeah, we've been waiting for an axle nut for a car for over a week now, a little axle nut. It's cost about $3, but it's special for a Corvette. And been waiting.
I wish my stuff was a week.
Yeah.
We have a car that got wrecked last January that we haven't been able to get the bumper cover for. And the car is completely, it's like $10,000 worth of repairs. Yeah. The car is completely finished, and it's been sitting for months waiting on a bumper cover.
Wow. Good gracious. Well, Carol, appreciate all you do for the show, calling in, giving tips, and being on the show from time to time. We appreciate it.